everyone, what's up? Tiffany Robinson, aka Coach Tiff, from Beyond RCM Revenue Cycle Management here in the state of New York. And I am really excited to get into our monthly motivational mindset video. Yes, we are at the start of a new month. And you know, every time we start a new month, we like to kick it off with a new monthly mindset. Now, if this is your first time joining the channel, I want to welcome you. Beyond RCM is a YouTube channel that is designed to discuss all things related to healthcare. We're talking about the latest breaking news in healthcare. We're talking about healthcare evolving topics that we need to be aware of. We're talking about information from my colleagues in the healthcare administrative and clinical space. And you know what? Patients have been loving the information. We've been getting feedback from patients saying that they're learning a ton about insurance from checking out the channel. So there's something here for everyone. If this is your first time hanging out with us, I want to welcome you. I also want to encourage you to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that when we put out content, you will be one of the first to know. So as we kick off this month of February, you know, I always like to start my month off with a centering thought, something that I'm going to strive towards for that month and focus on it. And this month, our monthly mindset is brought to you courtesy of the Greek philosopher Socrates. Now, Socrates lived around the 5th century BCE. He was a Greek philosopher. And the thing about Socrates is none of his actual written work has been discovered. So many of the teachings that we have from this philosopher come from his students. And one of his most famous students is Plato, who is another famous philosopher. Okay, so Socrates had many wonderful teachings. He was very big on finding the higher purpose of living, on ethics, on morals. In fact, many of the teachings of philosophy in the Western world is built on the teachings of Socrates as written by his students, one of which is Plato. And that's the foundation for a lot of the philosophical teachings that we adopt here in the Western world. And Socrates had a saying, and it said, beware of the barrenness of a busy life. So he taught, beware of the barrenness of a busy life. Now we're going to get back to that in a moment. The reason that I chose this month's monthly mindset video is because we have a lot of viewers who watch our channel who are remote workers. I myself have been a remote worker for quite some time. Remote work became very popular during and post-COVID. Speaking for myself, I have been working remotely since about 2012. I've always been working in a quasi-hybrid remote situation. When I worked full-time as an entrepreneur, I would usually work from home either 3 to 4 days a week and then spend 1 to 2 days a week visiting clients. And now that I'm a full-time director of RCM for a private organization, I pretty much work remotely full-time. And the thing about remote work is it offers a lot of flexibility. And it offers a lot of convenience. You know, you don't have to get up in the morning, especially here in New York where it's cold outside, and put on layers of clothes and get on the train or drive and go to work and then come back home. You don't have to do the intense commute. And for many people, it's also cost effective because you're not spending money on gas or transportation. So there are many conveniences to working remotely. Hey, what's up? Just stopping by really quick to make a quick ask. We've been reviewing our data analytics, and we've noticed that we have tons of new individuals checking out our channel, which is geared towards all things healthcare. However, many of our viewers are not subscribed to our channel. Subscribing to our channel allows our content to go into the proper algorithms so that we can spread knowledge related to the healthcare industry to all those who are interested or looking for guidance. So can you do me a favor? If you haven't done so already, can you please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell? That allows our information to get into the hands of those who truly need it. Thank you so much for helping us out in this way. Let's continue being great together. But I also find that working remotely can have significant cons as well. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And I'm going to speak for myself first. So, the hardest thing for me, particularly with working remotely, is being able to turn it off. Being able to turn work off and say, okay, work is over. I'm done. I am now reshifting my focus to, spend time with my family, or I'm reshifting my focus to go read a book and relax. Because the work is just ever present in my office, it's very easy for me to have that one more thing mentality. Oh, let me just finish this one more thing. Let me just do this one more thing. Oh, got one more thing. I could squeeze in this one more thing. So working remotely for me, particularly when I was a full-time entrepreneur, my biggest struggle was being able to turn off the work. Because as an entrepreneur, you're always working 10 times harder than anybody else anyway, and every entrepreneur knows this. So when you compound that by having your work readily accessible to you, that was a recipe for a disaster for me. Thankfully, now in my new role, I have gotten better, but I still probably think I put in more hours than a lot of my colleagues. And it's just because I have that entrepreneurial mindset. But I will say that I have gotten better. And the reason I want to talk about remote work is I interact with individuals who work remotely. And I have noticed that there's a struggle. There's a real struggle with remote life. There's a struggle to, make sure that you're making time for yourself outside of work and going out and doing things. There's a struggle to make sure that you're taking care of yourself physically. Sometimes it could be really easy for people to just kind of roll out their bed, put a head wrap on their head and show up to work. In my opinion, that's not it. Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to show up to work, and even if you got pajama pants on, I'm gonna need you to make sure that up here is together. But it presents a real struggle. Many people actually really struggle to find a balance. They struggle to find a balance to go outside after. They get so accustomed to being in the house, they don't push themselves to go outside and smell the fresh air, or they don't push themselves to maybe go to the gym and stay active. So you end up creating a pattern where it's almost like your whole life revolves around your work. And while many of us have to work to provide for our families and, keep a roof over our heads, our work is not the most important thing in our lives. In my opinion, what's most important is the time that we're spending with our loved ones and the time that we're investing in ourselves. So the reason that I chose this quote from Socrates, which says, "Beware of the barrenness of a busy life," is because it's very important for us to not quantify our lives by how busy our professional lives are. There's a whole life worth living outside of our work. There are family members that, want to connect with us and love on us, and we love on them. There are organizations and missions and things that we could be giving back. Not to mention there's time that we could be spending with ourselves and taking care of ourselves. Another famous quote that Socrates taught his students was, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Meaning, if you're not willing to look within yourself and examine your mind and your thoughts and your heart and the things that you're feeling, what are we really doing in life? So this month, I really want my remote colleagues to really focus on building stronger balance. Is there something that you could be doing differently in your remote work life? Can you get out and walk more? I can't really walk because it's cold outside, even though there's some people that be out in the street walking, God bless them, but it's too cold. But maybe you live in an area where it's not as cold and you can take a walk on your lunch break or take a walk after work. Are there things that you can do outside of your busyness to bring vibrancy into your life? Don't define your busyness professionally as your end all be all. There's a whole other world out there. There are people who want to connect with you. There are things that you can learn about yourself if you just step back from the busyness that you're allowing to define you right now and focus on the broader picture. So this month, I really want us to be intentional about taking care of ourselves and not just looking at our work as the centering thing that we need to focus on. If you've been in the house all week because you're like, I'm working this week, I'm gonna just, I'll come out this weekend. I want you to consider maybe on Wednesday, midweek, going outside for a walk and getting some fresh air. If you've been in the house for the past 2 weeks and you haven't been connecting with people, why don't you call up a friend and go out to dinner this weekend and catch up? There's a whole life out there worth living. We don't want to be barren. To be barren means to be dry. It means to be unfulfilled, unproductive. And we don't want the busyness of work to dry up every other area of our lives. So let's really focus and set an intention on showing up in other areas of our lives outside of our work lives. And, we definitely want to make sure when we show up at work, we give 100%. But, there's other areas that we need to show up in and give 100% as well. So that is our monthly mindset for this month. Beware of the barrenness of a busy life. Let's examine our month. Let's examine the things that we have scheduled or we have not scheduled outside of work. And let's breathe some life into those other areas of our lives. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me today. I hope you found this information beneficial to you. It was beneficial to me as I was preparing it and reflecting on it. I really enjoy bringing out these monthly mindset videos because there is a full life outside of our professional spaces. My name is Tiffany Robinson, aka Coach Tiff. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me. I wish you a wonderful and blessed February, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.